Hello everybody and welcome to this playthrough for Expert Division with the tournament win here. The name of the tournament is Extreme Hills Tournament and it's played in Golf Clash the game. The video is sponsored by Golf Clash and Playdemic, and before we start, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and also visit golfclashtommy.com for more Golf Clash related content. Last but not least, get the best guides on the market by going to patreon.com/golfclashtommy. Link in the description down below. Follow the info box on the right hand side to get the elevation adjustment for the specific shots in this playthrough, but also what type of ball and club that I feel is going to be the best ones to use. And in the end, if you do have any questions, let me know in the comments. So let's go to hole number 1. For hole number 1, we are going to lay up short by the bunkers. We do have a headwind, so the thing that I would recommend you to play with is either the rock or with, whatever your normal driver would be, an extra mile, apocalypse, or for that matter a Thor's hammer. But if you do have the rock in at least level 7, I would go with the rock. I'm using topspin, I'm also using side spin, having the white ring by the rough line, ball guideline pointing directly in between the two bunkers. Then I adjust maximum distance with a 20% over adjustment, and as you can see, I'm using a kingmaker. It's not going to be wrong for you to use any type of wind ball here, like a 3-point ball, burns ball, baseball. Those type of balls would be super duper valuable here, especially for the second shot when we're going to try to catch the funnel. Second shot, we are going to play this one 9.6 rings, which is a little bit more than medium distance of our club with a 10% over adjustment. You can see that now when we do have a little headwind, my focus is going to be to get the ball guideline pretty high up that hill to ensure that we do have enough speed for the ball to roll back. So ball guideline, as you can see, is slightly through the hole, playing 5 bars of backspin, which would be possible with sniper level 8+. But if you do have a lower level sniper, like a level 7 or below, I would then, if so, recommend to use the Guardian. But then that shot will be very, very tough, as you cannot have a you will then not have a ball guideline to rely on. 9.6 rings is what I do adjust. The ball comes up here, we like the camera angle. When it turns around, we know it's going to be close or it's gonna go in the hole. A little bit to the left though, which would in that case mean that we could have adjusted it just a decimal less. So a 9.5 maybe to summarize it here. So 9.5 in adjustment here for this shot with the sniper, kingmaker, and a nice little funnel shot for hole 1. For hole number 2, I'm going to attempt a rough bump. I do believe this is going to be the best possible way to get an hole in 1. Half a bar of topspin, max left spin, and we're playing with, a Daruma, a feather, kraken ball, anything that do have side spin 3. We can also play with a power 0 ball, doesn't have to be a power 1 ball. So power 0 or power 1 with wind resistance 5 and side spin 3. We do adjust medium distance with a 10% over adjustment, power 1 ball setting. And now I do want you to favor 11.59 when you pull your rings, and you are always going to pull over the bullseye. Great ball to the left, and I was scared for missing the rough, but as you can see, we clipped the rough without any issues. So the conclusion I have after been playing this shot a couple of times now is that a bad great right will miss the rough, a perfect will clip the rough, and it will be either in the hole or it will burn the edge. Great left is still going to be safe. So the thing that we're gambling with is to hit great right. If we hit great right, we should expect ourselves to in some times miss the rough. There is obviously different type of options where we bounce up towards the green, but isn't as dialed in yet on those. I want to show you one with a wind ball as well, so bundle in that in expert. Good chance on hole number 2, but make sure to hit that freaking ball perfect. For hole number 3, we're going to choose the right hand side, mostly due to the wind, as the wind coming left to right is going to make us require a decent amount of curl if we're gonna play left. Otherwise we will be risking the rough there to the right. So 6 bars of topspin, and I would recommend here to not use more than 6 bars. The reason I say that is because I don't want us to get into a longer distance than as much as to a sniper minimum distance club. And the reason I say sniper minimum distance club is because then we do have a ball guideline. Sure, those of you playing with a Grizzly level 7 plus or with a B52 level 7 plus, you have a very good ball guideline. Then I would instead recommend for you to push that one super duper hard so you gain as much distance as possible so you then can play with a long iron. But for those of us mortals not playing with those type of clubs, then we want to play with a sniper. Now I came a bit too high though, but it worked okay. Trying first to find a line for the rough bump, but it doesn't really work. So I'm going to play with the sniper, giving myself a minimum distance adjustment. The problem I do have here though is 2 things. First and foremost, I do over adjust this one massively. I played maximum distance instead of playing it minimum distance. And that combined with also going with you know, a 25% over adjustment as well. So my trick here is to go with 20% over adjustment, minimum distance club, and then we're going to be close. Spin to pin means that we're going to use a different type of backspin from time to time, but that is how we are gonna get this one as close as possible now as a start. I'm not ruling out that we might tweak this one a little bit, but this is a tough par 5, especially playing with that much elevation and all these bounces and roll towards the pin, so we need to adapt. But that's as a start. Again, I'm playing this one maximum distance. We should play minimum distance, 20% over adjustment if we are in minimum distance club. If we are in medium distance, we play medium distance of our club with a 20% over adjustment. For hole number 4, I'm going to play with the sniper and also a kingmaker. I do want to reduce the wind and therefore I play with a kingmaker. It's not wrong to play with a different ball. I would say like another type of ball that do have at least wind 3 but do have, you know, a side spin 2. We could play pinecone, we can play centurion, we can play many different type of balls. Superstar ball is one as well. Using a very simple reference, I'm using the top left of the blue ring by the rough line at the same time as the white ring is flushed by the sand, top left, and then also adding then 1 top spin, 3.5 bar side spin, as you can see. And you could also notice that the ball guideline is going short but pointing at the hole. Maximum distance with a 20% over adjustment, and as you can see we get it coming with a nice speed, but we are too much to the right still. And instead of adding to my adjustment, I would recommend you that we do play with 4 bars of side spin to the left instead. So, but your focus should be on the blue ring and the white ring to find the same position all the time. But don't be afraid to use a special ball here again where you can get like a wind 4 or something like that, so you don't have to adjust more than 10 rings. For hole number 5, we do have a lovely wind, and now we're going to go for green. Use the driver that gives you the most distance. In my case, that is the Apocalypse level 5, which gives me 240 yards. I'm having the right side of the red ring by this cutoff between the brighter rough and then the little darker rough. And then I'm going to apply max side spin right, 1 bar of backspin when the wind is 11.5 miles per hour. If I would be having a higher wind, like say 12 or 12.5, I would recommend them to play with 1.5 bar backspin or even 2 bars of backspin instead. I would not try to play this type of shot if I do have wind below 10.5 miles per hour. Or at least I would have to, I rephrase myself, I would change ball if the wind is 10.5 miles per hour or below. Change into a snow globe, turkey ball, sorry, not turkey ball, snow globe, turbo ball, fusion ball, ghost ball. There is plenty of those type of balls where we can get like a bit more wind. So we at least get ourselves, I would say like a minimum 11 miles per hour would be where I would feel comfortable with. Adjust maximum distance with no elevation, push up our target into max. And once it's done, we're going to apply curl, and then we're going to go with approximately 1.5 ball of the curl outside the adjustment ring to the right. So the ball approximately 1.5 ball outside the adjustment ring to the right. You see push up, and then it's time to take the shot. And last, obviously not least, we need to go with a little bit of overpower. And, you know, maximum overpower, in my opinion, with every type of club that you're playing with. And the only thing that should, if so, change would be the backspin, in my opinion. And this, with this type of win, this must and should be an eagle. For hole number 6, we're going to play right side. And I believe I found a route that is super amazing. And we're gonna play one top spin, max left spin with the quarterback, using half of the red ring inside the rough to the left. And then you can see the tip of the ball guideline should be in between when it comes to those two shadows there at the top. Now we're going to adjust for maximum distance with a 10% over adjustment with our quarterback. Once we are done, we are not going to push up to max, we are just going to take a normal shot. And as the wind coming right to left, I just want us to touch the inside arrows on the left there without cracking the circle. The ball is going to bounce on the fairway nicely, and we're then going to roll up to a very nice position here to go for a funnel shot there by the green. Now this could be called like a blind funnel shot, or whatever we can call it. Like, we're gonna aim left side of pin, but we're going to end up right side of pin, and the ball is gonna fall down. Weird, but it works, and it has worked a couple of times in a row now for me, and that's why I feel comfortable now to actually suggest it. So we're gonna start at +7 yard mark is what I'm going to go for, and I'm using as much side spin to the left possible. And then after that, I'm going to apply this to be 5 bars of topspin. You can see that we're going approximately 1 green square to the left of the pin. Last but not least, we are going to adjust maximum distance with no elevation. No elevation whatsoever. And you're going to see here, once we do hit perfect, the ball is going to obviously fly. And then we're going to have a natural over adjustment of our shot. So we bounce, a little bit more to the right, and there is, a couple of places there that is going to push our ball to the right, because that is what we want that ball to do, because we do want the ball to come in on the right hand side and then fall down for a nice albatross. Again, we hear that we aim left side and we end up right side, but in the end, we are used to weird stuff in this game, but whatever works, and I take it for a nice little albatross here on hole number 6. For hole number 7, we are going to unleash the Guardian. Max backspin, 1 bar side spin to the right. And this shot is possible to make with the Guardian level 6+, as then we do have the backspin that I want us to have. Now, my only focus is the tip of the ball guideline. That's what I'm looking for. So the tip of the ball guideline to be 5 green squares up from the pin, but 1 to the left. So that's going to be my starting point. Once done that, I'm going to adjust maximum distance with a 25% over adjustment with a slight 1159 pull angle. Sure, for those of you being able to use a different type of ball that is a power 3 but win 4, we have Vintage, we have Superstar, Centurion, Pinecone, there is so many of them. I would recommend you to do that, because then you will reduce the wind and you will also reduce the risk of having to do a double pull. And we always want to do a single pull that's going to give us a much more accurate type of adjustment. But again, Guardian shot, we use backspin, back end of the green, but very, very, very important to put the focus on the ball guideline, not on the rings, because depending on what type of Guardian you're having, your accuracy will be different, and therefore the rings are going to be a different size. Nice little hole-in-one here on hole number 7. For hole number 8, we are going to play with the driver that gives us the most distance possible. And here is going to be my extra mile level 8. I'm using a Kingmaker because I do want to reduce the wind, but I want to maintain the power as power 3. Now putting myself into max distance, and here you can see that I'm changing and playing 4.5 bar topspin and as much side spin to the right possible, aiming deliberately at the right side of the fairway, approximately 1.5 rings from the rough to the right. That's not entirely super important how close to the rough you're gonna be, just that you're at least focusing on getting closer to the rough on the right than you are to the left. Maximum distance with a 20% over adjustment, and when I do have a driver like the Extra Mile level 8, that is 235 yards or more, I'm gonna just add a tiny little click overpower. If I do have a driver that is 240 yards like an Apocalypse level 5 plus, I'm not gonna go with any overpower whatsoever. And if I do have a driver like X Mile level 7 or below and drivers that is 234 yards and below, I'm gonna add a little bit more overpower instead, but just tiny little bits so we do get into the same position all the time. Second shot is going to be with the Thorn or the Hornet. The Hornet, if you have it in a decent level, because you do need a decent amount of backspin. 3 bars of backspin minimum is what you do need. And here I am in complete minimum distance, and that's what I'm trying to achieve here with this type of shot, and trying to replicate, get into minimum distance all the time. When you are in minimum distance here, we're going to play minus 15%. So not the normal minus 10, but the minus 15 is what we're going to play. And we are going to pull over the bullseye. Very important. If you don't pull over the bullseye, you will most likely be short with your adjustment many of the time. So start by the outside yellow, pull over the bullseye over to the other side. 1.9 rings when pulling over the bullseye right at pin. And just to have it said, if you play minus 10%, it's going to be a difference of 0.1 or 0.2, and you would most likely have that shot, have that one snuck in right side cup with that type of wind. But in the end, minus 15 works splendid here, and that's what we're gonna go for. Last but not least, for hole number 9, we're going to go straight forward, and we're not going to try to play on the right hand side. So using as much topspin possible and then as much side spin possible as well. When we do have an Apocalypse, in this case an Apocalypse level 5, we do have 240 yards. So Apocalypse level 5 plus, we are going to not go with full overpower. Very, very important. If you go with full overpower, we do definitely risk going into the rough there on the top, and that's going to obviously not prevent us from reach the green, but it's going to prevent us from having a decent opportunity for an albatross. Max plus 10, push up to max if needed. And then we do take our shot again, take off a little overpower, but also everyone stick with 6 bars of topspin. So even if you have an Apocalypse level 6, 7 or 8, stick with the 6 bars topspin, so it won't be the topspin that makes you roll into the rough even if you reduce the overpower. Second shot is going to be played 5% extra, and the 5% extra here is going to be very welcomed, I would say. We're going to most likely be in maximum position almost all the time here when taking this shot, as that is kind of how this hole is built. 4 bars of backspin, 1.5 bar side spin to the left, and you can see that I deliberately aim to the left of the pin, trying to offset this shot a little bit to the left to compensate for the wind push. Adjustment max plus 5 as just recently explained, but you know, don't hit a double great right, that's not going to help you. So you know, hitting that double great right, and we're going to see this ball obviously go on the right side of the pin, but with a decent speed. So if we would be in that case hitting perfect, we would have been close. I'm not saying we would have dropped it, but at least we would have given it a chance. This is, in my opinion, a decent chance for an albatross. Hole number 6 is a better chance, but hole number 9 is close after. Thank you so much everybody for watching this playthrough for Expert Division with Tournament Wind. If you do enjoy the video, please take your time, hit thumbs up. Also don't forget to subscribe subscribe, click at the bottom in the bottom right corner. The video here is sponsored by Golf Clash and Playdemic, and if you want to get the best guides on the market, you go to patreon.com/golfclashtommy. You do have a link in the description down below. Also, join our Discord, join into our community where you safely can ask questions and get some help, and also have some fun. In the end, a big good luck in the Extreme Hills tournament.